Hello everyone, and welcome to my updated, easiest Dark Dungeons Chimps guide ever. No abilities, no micro, and no Geraldo necessary at all. The easiest possible chimps. First, we have the Dart Monkey starting placements. These are definitely the hardest part of the run, yet they're not even that precise or difficult to begin with. First, we have this Dart Monkey here on the left. This guy goes right over here as low as possible, while making sure that the tip of the dart is in line with this line in the floor right here, when it's not in that animation. That line right there, and just move it as low as possible. This spot isn't super precise at all, but it's still possible to lose on round 9, specifically, if this guy's off. Next, we have the middle dart spot. This guy just goes as right as possible, while making sure that the white outline, when you click it, is just on this line right here. Just on that line in the floor. This guy isn't super precise, but still try to place it precisely. And then this guy just goes as high as possible here, while making sure that the range border does go through the middle of this track right here. If you've gotten these spots right, and trust me, they're not difficult whatsoever, you should be able to beat round 6. And then for round 7, we're going to employ the first of many traps. What the traps on Dark Dungeons are, if you click on the torch here on the right, these spikes will shoot up. You want to do that to catch the last red of round 7. And then they'll go away after a while. But then, after round 7, you want to get this Dart Monkey here, just as left as possible, while making sure that the range border touches the inside of the track outline right here. Just the inside of that darker spot. Once you've got that guy down, set your bottom right Dart Monkey to strong, and then get this Dart Monkey on the left to a quick shots. The reason why these two dart spots are somewhat precise to begin with is that they need to make certain snipes, which I'll show you on round 9. So this guy, this next Dart Monkey, goes right over here, just as bottom right as possible, above your other one. This Dart Monkey here on the left needs to just snipe balloons like that. The spot for it to do that isn't super precise, but it can still have, like, maybe a little bit of difficulty to it. Not much, though. And then, on round 10 here, just on the big wave of blues at the end of the round, use the left trap just to catch the one red that should make it through. After that, you get an Engineer Monkey right over here, just as bottom right as possible here. Just shove him right there. And now we're just going to go straight for Soda. Theoretically, you could get Soda in the middle of round 13, and it would be quite easy to do so, but I don't feel like it, and you don't have to. So just before round 14, get Soda right over here, as bottom right as possible in this corner. This is important, as she will be our main DPS for the top lane. So just shove her as bottom right as possible. Set this Dart Monkey over here to strong as well. And then upgrade your bottom middle Dart Monkey to quick shots. Also, very important, just check that this bottom right dart is on strong. If it's not, you will very badly lose to the first wave of yellows. And then, for round 15, get your bottom middle dart to very quick shots, and we're going to get this guy to a triple shot when we can afford it. On 15, when the round starts to overwhelm you a little bit, just use both traps, and you should be good. Boom. And boom. Pretty easy round 15. And then, just before 17, get triple shot. And now we're going to get Sentry Gun on this Engineer. You could get it in the middle of 18, but you don't have to. Your Engineer should just clutch up. And then get Sentries for 19. For round 20 here, we're going to get a Glue Gunner. Right over here, kind of just like this, as left as possible so that he's kind of standing on this platform right here. And this like little outline of the puddle. Set him to strong and get bigger globs. We're going to turn this guy into a 210 Corrosive Glue, which is actually an insanely good early game on this map. Get Glue Soak for 21, and be ready to use the right trap if you feel like you have to. I guarantee you, you won't have to, but if you ever feel scared, just use it. But then, get Corrosive for 22. And then, for 23, we're going to get a second Corrosive. This guy is so good on this map that we're going to get another one over here as well. Just shove him as bottom right as possible here, and only upgrade him to a 110 set to strong for now. And then, for 24, just use the left trap on the camo, and you should be good. .25, you should be good. The middle lane can look a little bit scary, but you should be good if your darts are placed right. And then for 26, get just attack shooter as top left as possible here. Just shove him up here. And get even more tax on it, and you should be good. Just a 002 for now. This guy's going to become an Overdrive later, and might as well help out for the early game a little bit. Get Corrosive on your left glue for 27, and you should absolutely wreck this round. We don't have any lead popping for the middle yet, so let's get some. Let's get an Alchemist right over here, just as top left as possible. This guy will become an Alch buff for our attack shooter later, so might as well just get him now. And just set him to strong, and you should be good. He'll take care of the leads for you. And he'll even help out on the right side too, which is pretty nice. For 31, get a Spike Factory right over here, just as high as possible so that the range border goes through the middle of this track right here. And it should be firing. If it's not firing, that's, I think that's obviously pretty bad. And then for 33, we're going to get a second Spike Factory right over here, just as bottom right as possible. Just shove him in that corner, and you should be good. Technically, this round is a little bit subject to Spike Factory RNG, but I don't think it's physically possible to get RNG so bad that it causes you to lose. And even if you do notice that you get very bad RNG, just use a trap, and that takes out most of the round anyway. For 35, what we're going to want to do, upgrade this left Spike Factory to Smart Spikes, and set it to Close. And then Tack Sprayer and Faster Shooting on your Tack Shooter. Our round 40 solution is going to be an Alch buffed Overdrive, so we got to start upgrading this guy. Also, with this Spike Factory, you should notice that it puts the spikes right over here if you placed it right. These guys look like they're on the top lane, but they can actually hit balloons going up as well, which is very useful. For 36, just the cheapest thing we can afford that we'll get later anyway, upgrade this dart to Sharp Shots. We're going to turn this guy into a Juggernaut later, and this is in our budget for round 40. Might as well, I guess it could reduce some RNG. And then just get even faster shooting on your Tack Shooter, and larger potions only on your Alchemist. On 37, set your Alchemist to close, just to make sure it prioritizes the middle lane. And we could get Acidic Mixture Dip, but that will cause us to lose on round 40, because we need both buffs to fire instantly, so that the Overdrive can actually kill the Moab. Sada should just barely handle 38, and you should be good. Or 37, my bad. I think I said 38. But for the ceramic on the right side on 38, just use the right trap. Sada can't deal with it. For 39, get Overdrive. And then for round 40, just get Berserker Brew. This should fire both buffs instantly on the tack shooter, and it'll take it out very easily. So, for 42, bigger stacks on both of your spike factories, camo on your triple shot, and then upgrade your top right Dart Monkey, the one we got to a sharp shots, to a 302 Spike-a-Bolt. This is just barely enough to deal with all the camos this round, and yeah, it's cool. For 43, just use both traps to be safe. I'm not entirely sure if you have to use both, but better safe than sorry in a guide like this. And then for 44, just get a base wizard over here on the right, top right as possible, and then just upgrade this guy to a 0-1-2. Fireball with Monkey Sense, and this guy to just a base wizard for now, with Fireball, I guess. For 45, get Perishing Potions on your Alchemist, and set it back to strong, and then try to get Monkey Sense on your wizard, your left wizard, but you shouldn't have to. We can afford the Wall of Fire upgrade right now, but we're not going to do that quite yet. I'll explain why on 46. Also, the reason we get Perishing Potions on this round, which is pretty funny, is that the Alchemist actually defortifies the leads, which lets it one-shot them. Normally it wouldn't do that, which is insanely funny. So for 46, get both of your wizards to 0-2-2 Wall of Fires. The reason we wait to upgrade them is so that they deploy the Wall of Fire instantly, so it's just the most consistent between attempts. For 47, just use both traps, and you'll definitely be good. For 49, just get a Dragon Breath here on the left side, and then just use the right trap as well when the ceramics start to show up. And now for the middle lane, we're going to get a village right below our tack shooter here, just as top left as possible. This spot isn't super specific, but might as well. Upgrade it to a 202, and then get an Ice Monkey right over here, just as bottom right as possible. And yes, this spot does actually matter quite a lot, so try to shove it in there as best as you can. And upgrade this guy to a 310 Ice Shards. We're going to get this guy to Embrittlement later, but might as well just get Ice Shards now to prevent any possible Alch buff timing RNG. For 51, get Juggernaut on the right side, and switch him to first. Ice Shards should decamo, which is something it does now, I guess. I don't know why they felt that was necessary, but I guess it's cool. I would recommend you buy Embrittlement in the middle of 52, but I almost guarantee you that you don't actually have to. Just get it for 53, though. For 54, what we're going to do, just use the left trap when the Moab from the top right shows up. It'll just prevent some RNG here. And then, for 55, get an Alchemist, top left as possible, only in range of your Spike Factory, and just get a 300 Berserker Brew, and then primary training on the middle village here. We're going to get Dragon Breath on this guy, don't worry, just a few more rounds. Whoops, I accidentally used the trap. Oh well. Just get Spiked Balls on this guy here on the left, and now we'll actually go for that Dragon Breath. You should be able to get Dragon Breath here on 58. You don't have to do it mid-round, but might as well. It won't hurt you. Now we just have a few more things to round out the mid-game setup, and then we can start going for our main DPS tier 5 for the bottom side, which is an Ultra Juggernaut. So just get your top middle dart monkey to a 420 Juggernaut for 60, and you should be good. Juggernauts work really well on this map just because of all the walls, so yeah, that's why we're going to end up buying a third one. This guy's just going to go on the left here, right below your Dragon Breath, just like this. This guy's going to be a 420 as well. For 63, I get that there could be like a very slight amount of U-Jug, or not U-Jug, that's not a U-Jug yet, just some Juggernaut bounce RNG on the right side. Very unlikely. You should be good. The increased knockback they gave it this update actually makes it pretty much solo the right side on 63, which is insanely funny. And the extra projectile lifespan is hilarious. If you feel like using a trap, go for it. Shouldn't need to, though. And then for 64, get Spiked Balls with even faster production on the middle lane. Final few quick things before we actually start going for our Ultra Juggernaut. We're going to wait a few more rounds, and then we'll get this guy to a Spiked Mines. You should be able to get Spiked Mines here before 71, which is pretty good. And then we're going to cross-path this Alchemist as a 301, as it'll have better uptime on the slow attacking tower that is the Spiked Mines. And then we'll get another 301 Alchemist here for our Spiked Balls. And now we're going to start saving up for the Ultra Juggernaut. That's the actual last upgrade. On 75 here, if you'd like to use a trap on the left side for whatever reason, go for it. You definitely don't need a trap on the right side, and that should be obvious why. But you do need a right trap on 76, so just use it. For 78, you are going to need to use a right trap for both of the ceramic waves, unfortunately. That's just how it is. Either that or use a sword charge. It doesn't matter which one. But if you want to do the base no ability strat, just use the trap instead. And then, in the middle of, or after 79, just get Ultra Juggernaut. This is a pretty late Ultra Juggernaut, but I'd say it's pretty good considering we have most of our defense for the middle lane complete, and our top side is, like, about half of what we're going to get as well. Speaking of other things we're going to get for the top side, get an Alchemist here, just a base one for now. This guy will be a placeholder. And then above him, get a Discount Village and upgrade it to a 202. With Jungle Drums, ideally it affects your Dragon's Breath. Doesn't really matter if it does or not. And then just get this guy to a 320 Berserker Brew. The reason why we're going 320 as opposed to 301 on these other Alchemists is 301 has slightly better uptime on slow attacking towers, while 320 has better uptime on fast attacking towers, and Sada is a relatively fast attacking tower. So, we're just going to get a few supports for our top side. First, starting off with a Moab Glue, just as top right as possible here. Just a 013 set to strong, and we'll get this guy to a 024 Relentless when we have the money. Should be able to afford that on 83. For 84, what we're going to get, just pick up a 024 Moab Press right over here, just as top right as possible. Set to strong, and then after 84, pick up a second one right below it. Just shove them up there. And then we're going to Alch buff our Ultra Juggernaut, because that will make it a lot stronger. So, right over here, as top right as possible. Ideally a discount range, I'm not sure if it matters too much. Just a standard 320 Alchemist. And now our topside setup is actually pretty much complete, except for a decamo we'll get later. So now we can start focusing on the middle side a little bit. Also, wait, the middle isn't a side. Why did I say it like that? Anyway, we're going to focus a little bit on the middle. First, we're going to get a Glue Gunner right over here as bottom right as possible. Ideally, this is on like the same level as your Ice Tower, but it doesn't matter so much, but I just try to place it down here if possible. And then we're going to upgrade this guy just to a 013 Moab Glue set to strong. Pretty standard. Actually, no, my bad. This guy is going to be a 023. We're going to get Glue Splatter on this guy as well. So remember that decamo I mentioned? Yeah, we're just going to buy it now. Just right over here as top left as possible here, get an Engineer. And this guy is going to be a 032 Cleansing Foam with Pin. And just put it on this track right here as low as possible. The reason we get Pin is just so we can slow the ceramics on 91 just a little bit more. Makes it a little safer. And it'll also decamo every single DDT. Also, get primary training on the top. Doesn't matter too much, but I guess it'll help a little bit. And yes, we're going to rely on Embrittlement as our only decamo in the middle. It'll work just fine, though. Don't worry about it. And then, for 91, if you feel like you have to use a right trap because you're scared of the ceramics for whatever reason, just use it. No way you actually have to, but if you want to, go for it. And then just get a Relentless Glue in the middle, and now we're going to start the save up for our second Tier 5 of the run. Which you'd expect would be Attack Zone, because it has this really nice bend right here. But no, it's going to be a Super Brittle. You'll see why later. But yeah, anyway, 93 and 94 should get absolutely demolished by this setup. If you feel like you have to use a trap on the left side at all, go for it. 100% not required. If you want to use a left trap just on the purples to have more spiked mines saved for the DDTs, go for it. Shouldn't make too much of a difference, though. Spiked Mines is a beast against those purples. Your Spiked Balls might have to tank a few DDTs in the middle, but there's a reason why we have it, so... It shouldn't tank more than, like, 2 or 3. The most I've ever seen it tank was 5, and even then the Spike Pile didn't get to, like... It didn't even get to, like, empty. So, for 97, get that Super Brittle, and upgrade it to a 520. The reason we're getting a Super Brittle here instead of Attack Zone is that it just does better against 100. I don't know. It just does better. If you thought there was some crazy reason, no, it just does a little bit better. But it also allows 98 to just melt before your very eyes, so I think that's pretty funny. Well, only the middle side. I said middle side again. Why do I keep doing that? But anyway, top side, once a whole bunch of fortified Moabs start approaching your Spiked Mines, you're going to want to use the left trap. This is pretty standard and will happen in every run. The amount of Moabs that go through is always just a little different, but it's not too much of a difference. But then for 99, what we're going to do, just get yourself a village right over here, and just upgrade this guy to a 120, just so that everything will have camo detection instantly and doesn't need the Super Brittle to decamo it. This just prevents a very small amount of RNG. Spiked Mines might have to tank a few DDTs on the top side. It's the GOAT though, so it'll do that. And then for 100, just get an Overdrive right over here, as bottom left as possible here. And usually you'll be able to fit one in here, but I'm just going to pretend that I can't, and I'll put it over here as well. It's about the same. And, I don't know, spend the rest of your money on whatever. Watch the bad melt. Spiked Balls will tank a little bit, but that's fine. And boom. With that, you should now have your Dark Dungeons Black Border with the goated strategy of Soda, Ultra Juggernaut, and Super Brittle. I hope this guide helped you out in some way. Have a nice rest of your day, and goodbye.